Fifth one is, you're on a busy orthopedic ward round with your consultant when the nurse mentioned that one of your patient drinks 60 units of alcohol per week. He's scheduled for an elective knee replacement in the 2 days, but is otherwise fit and healthy. So important things keep in mind. You are on a busy ward round, like you are on a busy ward round. It's in a ward round. Your round is happening at the moment, right? And at the time, the nurse mentioned you all of this. And so first thing, as I told you, that trying to figure out the urgency of a question. So trying to figure out, is it the
Mm.
emergency or the non-emergency or urgency or non-urgency, and then trying to solve the problems in respect of that. So you are on a ward round,
Okay.
already ward round is happening. So trying to find out if this thing which is nurse told you that patient is just alcoholic and drinks a lot of units per week. So but he is on the like need to have a surgery done. So what you should do in this situation? And obviously this is the three best options, and trying to find out the three options which solves the problem collectively. So the options are, so you
Mm.
A is a wrong one because ask the consultant to review the issue during the ward round. So as it was mentioning, that is why it is mentioned in the question. This is a busy, right? So you
Mm.
cannot
Mhm.
stop the consultant to review the non-urgent situation. So that is why this is a wrong.
Okay.
And then B is the best answer, is that return to the patient after the ward round. Obviously, you are just discussing with the patient after the ward round, which makes sense. And thus prescribe the Prebnix and the chlordepoxide while the consultant consent the patient. Be- Prescribing yourself, which is these are obviously the drugs for the withdrawal or any kind of withdrawal symptoms. But at the moment the patient is stable, and prescribing them is not the best thing. Discuss the matter further with the
Mhm.
patient during the ward round. As I said, during the ward round, this is a non-urgent matter. So
Yeah.
can't just deal the non-urgent matter in the busy ward round. Tell the patient to stop the drinking alcohol. So we can just stay here and just read other options first. Mention the issue to the registrar after the ward round. So this is solving something, right? You just trying to first deal with the patient, then mention this issue to the senior, which in case is a registrar, and then ask the
Mhm.
nurse to keep the surface information until the ward round to avoid interpretation. So discouraging the nurse is just a bad thing. Whatever the nurse see you saw is just telling you. So discouraging any of team members to raise any kind of concern is not good. And inform the drug alcohol services representative. So the best option in this case is H. So tell the patient to stop drinking alcohol, as if he's drinking a lot of alcohol is not solving anything. So best options are B, F, and H. So info, as the patient has
Mm.
a as the patient has the surgery in 2 days, so one of the person from the alcohol and drug services representative may come to the patient and deal the patient in the meanwhile, and patient is stable, so that is the better option than E. Just talk. So because only telling the patient is not solving anything unless you should do something for it. And for better option here is H, right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, moving to the sixth.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 6. A 50-year-old is admitted to the hospital with a severe sudden onset headache, which you think is probably a migraine. Your registrar asks you to telephone the on-call radiologist at home to authorize an urgent CT scan. You become distracted completing other jobs for the registrar and only remember to telephone the radiologist an hour later. Okay, the problem in this stem is that a patient is having a headache which you think is a migraine, but your registrar has told you to call the on-call radiologist and for a urgent CT scan, but you just forgot to do so and you remember it after an hour. So what will happen? There are 5 options. We'll rank accordingly. Inform the registrar about the delay and phone the radiologist immediately to request the CT scan head. Um, phone the radiologist and explain that the registrar only just asked you to arrange the CT scan. See, phone the radiologist and explain that the registrar wants the CT scan, but you think that it is likely to be a migraine. T is ask the registrar to call the consultant radiology himself. E is phone your own consultant and ask for advice first. Okay, so these type of questions are regarding the communication. So it is very important to communicate with our colleagues with honesty. Okay, so we need to be honest in these options. Okay, the best one among these which depicts our honesty is
Mm.
option number
Yeah.
A.
Mm.
Okay, inform the registrar about the delay and phone the radiologist immediately to request a CT scan. Okay, and the worst one in which we are being most dishonest is B.
Mm.
Phone the radiologist and explain that the registrar only just asked you to arrange the CT scan. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The other options we are left with are C, D, and E. So among these, the better one is C. In C, we are calling the radiologist and telling him that we want CT scan, but we think that it's like a migraine.
We're just telling
So this headache
honesty.
is just a migraine. So we are not being dishonest here. We are just giving our opinion, and at the same time, we are asking for the CT scan. Okay.
Mm.
And the other option is next best is D. Ask the registrar to call the consultant radiology himself. This the problem in this answer is that we are just overburdening the registrar. So there, it should be our duty to call the consultant, radiologist consultant. So we are just overburdening our registrar. So it is in the like second last place. Okay.
Okay.
And then E,
Mm.
phone your own consultant and ask for advice first. It is in the second last option.
Mm. Right.
Okay. The next question is at the end of your shift, you are told that a new patient has arrived under the care of your team. The nurse reads a long list of jobs that need completing and asks if you would address these before leaving. This is the third consecutive day that you will leave the ward late. Okay, so in this question, the problem is that it's time to go home, but the nurse gives you a long list and asks you to address this before leaving, and you already have a new patient to see. Okay, which who is under your care. So what you're going to do, there are options. Leave and review the jobs in the morning. A. B is review the jobs and perform those which will take less than 15 minutes. Okay, C is review the job that appear most urgent and complete this before handing over to the on-call doctor. D is ask the nurses to contact the on-call doctor who can review the patient. E is ask the nurses to do what they can and to contact the on call doctor if they feel that anything else must be done before the next morning. Okay. So the best among these, this is C.
Mm.
In C, we are just having a look at the most urgent and we'll complete that before handing it over to the on call doctor. So it's solving the issue. We are doing the most urgent job and also responsibly handing over the left jobs. Okay. So C solves all the issues. And the worst among these is A
Okay. Mm.
because among these jobs, some any job could be the most important or urgent one, and it could um, like be a compromise on the patient's safety. So A is leaving the job and reviewing in the next morning is making the patient safety at risk. Okay,
Mm.
so A is the worst one. Okay, now we are left with B, C, and E.
Mm.
Okay. The next better option is D.
Mm.
In this, we are saying the nurse to contact the on-call doctor who can review the patient. Okay. So in this, we are handing over, or we are like directing the nurse to the appropriate person, to the on-call doctor. So uh, it could be on the second place. Okay. Before, after us, or after the doctor, after we as a doctor, the next one could be the best suitable person could be the on-call doctor whom the nurse could contact. Okay,
Mm.
so it's in on the second place. And then E is that we are not directing the nurse to the on-call doctor. We are saying, we are like telling her that ask the nurse to do what they can. We are first telling her to do what she can, and if she feel the need, then she can call the on contact the on-call doctor.
Mm.
So it's like we are in this nurse is like going to solve the problem, and this the nurse is like giving we are giving the responsibility to the nurse, not any doctor.
Mhm.
So that's why E is not better than D, it is worse than D. Okay, so it's on the third place. And the B option, the next one is B. review the jobs and perform those that will take less than 15 minutes. So in this we are not thinking about the urgency, we are just saying the that the jobs which will take the less time will get the priority. So that is not the criteria. The criteria is that we should see the urgent jobs even if they are long or take more time. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
So the next one is you're a surgical FY1 doctor on call and assessing an acutely unwell patient. This takes you until the end of your shift and leads to the accumulation of the many ward jobs. The overnight surgical F2 doctor to whom you hand over is infuriated with your slow pace and threatens to complain to your consultant in the morning unless you assist her.
Mm.
Okay. So your F1 doctor and your shift is going to be ended. And in your shift, there was a patient which takes an assessment of which you take a lot of time, and this left with many ward jobs. Okay, and you're handing over the jobs to the F2 doctor, and he threatens you that if you don't assist him, then he'll complain to the consultant. So what you're going to do? There are many options, and we'll select the three which collectively solve the problems. Okay. So the A is apologize for your failure to complete the ward job. B is ask for the feedback in order to improve your management and hand over. C offer to continue working up the previously unwell patient who is now stabilized. D is offer to assist with the ward jobs until she feels that the list of jobs has become more manageable. E do not hand her any more jobs in an effort to avoid antagonizing her. F is explain that you are unable to complete any more jobs now that your shift is over. G is phone the surgical registrar in order to help resolve the apparent conflict. H is complain to her consultant in the morning. Okay. So the best among these is A, B, and F. In A, you are apologizing her, which will like lessen her anger, and she might not complain to the consultant in the future, in the morning. Okay. And also in this, obviously it's your mistake that you have taken a very long time on one patient. So apologizing is fine here. Okay. So A is you are apologizing, and B is you are asking her feedback on how to improve such a situation. Okay, that whenever you are across an unwell patient, how to lessen the time of management, how to manage your time. Okay,
Mm.
so B is like asking for a feedback. It's okay to ask for feedback from the colleague. Okay, and F is like we are explaining her that you can't complete the jobs because your shift is over now. It is also good because if you stay as you have been, as your shift is over, and if you stay overnight with her, it might be a risk to the patients. So that's why clearly explaining her that you can't complete any more jobs as your shift is over is also good.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
9. You are an FY1 doctor in the rheumatology looking after a patient who is about to be discharged this afternoon. During his stay, a CTPA was completed for chest pain, which was negative but showed a lung mass of unknown significance with the suggestion of for interval scanning.
Mm.
Okay. So the problem here is that you had a patient who is discharged, and he had a CTPA for chest pain. Like we were going to run the PE or something else. So incidental finding was found that a lung mass was identified in CTPA. So what we are going to do regarding that? Yeah,
Scanning.
which also require a repeat interval scanning. Okay. So what we are going to do now? Use capital letters in the discharge letter to highlight the incidental finding and requirement for an interval CT scan. B is phone the GP to inform them of this finding. C is explain the problem to the patient and ensure he sees his GP to arrange an interval CT scan. D is inform the ward clerk to relay the report finding to the patient. E is advise the patient returns to the dermatology clinic to see your consultant for further review of the mass. Okay. So, in this, when such a situation happens that a patient is being discharged and he needs a follow up for some problem, then the best person to contact is his GP, because mostly follow ups occur in the GP clinic regarding any other problem, and from the GP clinic he will be like transferred to the, or he will be referred to the particular respiratory clinic if needs so. Okay. So firstly we will take the responsibility ourselves, and communication between doctor communication is necessary in this case. Like we ourselves should call the GP, not we should not rely this responsibility of communicating with the GP to any other doctor. We ourselves should contact the GP. Okay. So the best one in this is B.
Mm.
Phone the GP to inform them of this finding. And the worst one is D.
Hmm.
Inform the ward clerk to relay
Relay the
the
report
report
finding.
finding to the
Okay,
patient,
fine. That's good.
because he is a non-clinical person and he is not supposed to do such clinical tasks. Okay, so B is the best one, D is the worst one. The other options we are left with are A, C, and E. Okay, so A is kind of solving something like in A. Sorry, C. C is the next one. Explain the problem to the patient and ensured he sees his GP to arrange an interval CT scan. Okay, so in C option we are explaining the patient and asking him to see his GP to arrange an interval CT scan. Okay,
Hmm.
so it's on the next option. And A is we are writing everything in discharge letter, but it is highly likely that maybe the patient wouldn't show the discharge letter to his GP and it gets ignored. So there is no um, like use of writing in discharge letter unless we contact the GP or
Hmm.
tell the patient about the significance of the discharge letter. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so just writing and not telling anyone about this, neither the patient nor the GP doesn't solve the problem. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so it's not. Okay, and E is obviously on the second last that we are telling the patient return to the rheumatology clinic to see your consultant as it now becomes a problem of respiratory clinic, so returning or follow up on the rheumatology clinic is not suitable. Okay.
Hmm. Okay. 10th.
Tenth, as the FI1 doctor for a medical team, you are seeing a patient for the first time on the Monday ward round. You realize that the admitting doctors on Friday did not arrange a review by the weekend medical team despite grossly abnormal blood results. What
Hmm.
would you include as a part of your written entry in the medical notes?
Hmm.
Okay, so we are seeing a patient on Monday and he was admitted on the Friday, but the Friday doctors didn't give a proper handover. You can say didn't arrange a review of the patient in the weekend. However, his blood results are markedly deranged. So now we are seeing him after 2 days from Friday to Monday now. Um, so what we are going to do? There are We are going to select the three options. Your opinion as to whether it was appropriate to be reviewed by the weekend medical team. This patient was not seen by a weekend review team. C is medical entries for the weekend by assessing the patient retrospectively. Both Fridays and Mondays blood result, today's blood result, today's management plan. Avoid writing anything but review the patient. H, tell the patient that the doctor treating him initially had done so incorrectly.
Hmm.
Okay. So the best options here are B, D, and F. Okay, we can't like criticize or comment a lot about the medical team that why they have not seen, but we should at least write to like that everyone should know that they were not seen by the weekend review team. But we cannot comment on that. Like we cannot give our opinion as in option A, your opinion as to whether it was appropriate. It's we are not giving opinion. We are just telling or just saying that they were not seen by the weekend review team. Okay, so B is fine, but giving our opinion or writing the medical entries or something, it's not our job. Okay, we are just saying that they have was not seen by the weekend review team. Okay, and D is we are writing the test results for Monday and Friday because there is a difference between the blood test results of Monday and Friday. So to compare the test results, writing both is fine. Okay,
Hmm.
and F is we are writing today's management plan. It is also fine. And okay, and we will not tell the patient that the like age is also incorrect. Tell the patient the doctors treating him initially had done so incorrectly. We should not comment on any of the doctor in front of the patient. Okay.
Hmm.
And see medical entries for the weekend by assessing the patient retrospectively. Yeah, we can't do this. Like we don't know what happened on the weekend. So how can we do the medical entries or comment retrospectively of about the patient assessment? So this is also not fine. Okay.
Yeah, good. So just like trying to solve the problem and trying to manage the problem rather just creating fuss
Yeah, and commenting unnecessarily on other
on the doctor.
doctors' work. Okay.
Hmm.